We're live with special guest Sneako. I was just in his creativity kit call, and I was talking to him about how it's one of my goals to interview him this year. It was actually my biggest goal that I had was to get him on my show, and he took the time to come on briefly here to chat. So Sneako, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. This is a huge opportunity for me.
Hey, it was great. It's great to do this right now. We're just in the middle of a creativity kit networking call. Tyson asked if he when he could do an interview because my booking rate for podcasts is pretty high and it's not easy for everybody to do it. But hey, I like to give show love to the creativity kit members. I think of the creativity as a team, and we have Go to one of the other members making the thumbnail right now. And yeah, man, ask away. Anything you want to talk about. It's good to see that you have drive and motivation. I could tell based on your voice right away that you are ambitious, and I think that's an important thing to surround yourself with. It's an important trait that people need to have. I don't hear it in everybody, and if I couldn't tell that right away, then I probably wouldn't have done this. But I got the link to your channel in the chat. I'm about to go post it on my Discord so that people can get in here.
Yeah,
Do an
thank you so
announcement.
much for this opportunity. This is like kind of spur of the moment. I didn't have time to really prepare any questions, but I got a couple. I guess we're kind of just going to do this on the flow. One of the questions I did, however, get though is how did getting kicked off of YouTube impact your reach? And I know like it's horrible what YouTube did. They kicked you off for really no reason at all whatsoever. But how has that affected your career? And I mean, obviously, you've been able to get pretty big on Rumble, lapping a lot of the streamers on YouTube on Rumble. So maybe just talk about your cancellation on YouTube a little bit.
It's in the past now. I'm pretty used to it. Just people have been asking me if they think that YouTube's going to reinstate me, but it's over. It's in the past. And one way that I've navigated it, and I've said this on a couple interviews and podcasts, but they can't stop talking about me on YouTube. Most of it's negative. Like if you search my name, there's a new video probably every 6 hours about me. And it's people trying to psychoanalyze, trying to invent. Why is he like this now? He didn't. But this guy sneak. They're really obsessed about talking about me. And the annoying part is I still get called a YouTuber, which I find pretty disrespectful. I'm not a YouTuber. Like I'm very clearly not a YouTuber. It's impossible for me to be a YouTuber. But it's over. And they're giving me free press. That's the way I see it. I was wiped by big tech, and I've been trending on Twitter worldwide for a couple weeks straight. YouTube, if I do a debate with some gamer, I get 10 million views. Like while I'm on data, not even connected to Wi-Fi, bad quality on Discord while I'm in Japan. I did this debate with somebody, and I just walked out of the club, and I went like this, and I was on data on my phone, and I got 10 million views in like 2 days. So I found a way to successfully beat the cancellation, and that's pretty much how Trump won the election. Trump won the election in 2016 because the mainstream media couldn't stop talking about him, even though they disliked him, even though they could only say negative things. Real recognized real, and he was able to leverage that free press in order to connect with the people that really know. So I see it as a way, like if I can upset people, if I can trigger people emotionally for my opinion or my point of view of the way I talk, and they are going to continue talking about me, then I see it as a great way to funnel people into Rumble. Rumble is going to take over. I like what you said that Rumble is going to take over in 5 years. But I'm curious about you. Before you get into the interview, who's Tyson Hockley? Where are you from? What are your dreams? What's your goal with the content you put out there? Why did you join the Creativity Kit? I want to hear an intro from you.
So yeah, my dream is to take this YouTube thing as far as I possibly can. 2 years ago, I did this thing where I called like an owl in a forest, and that was kind of like my biggest video to date. It got like 6 million views on TikTok, and that kind of started my career. But then I
Six
started kind
million.
of getting into journalism. Like, I'm not sure. Do you know what the Freedom Convoy was in Canada?
No, what's that?
It was like a bunch of truckers who were against the vaccine mandates in Canada. And they had some pretty big rallies. There's like 13,000 people in my city. And that's when I kind of started to get into the more like controversial journalism. I went down there and started live streaming that. And now I guess you could say I'm more of like a journalist slash like almost political commentator. I just want to make sure that I'm putting out good stuff because I find like most of my generation is just consuming content that's just not really productive at all. And I want to make sure that if anybody's going to be watching my channel, they're at least going to be taking something away from it and actually bettering themselves as a person and gaining knowledge. But yeah, that's kind of just me. I want to take this thing as far as possible. I want to interview people. I want to hear stories, and I want to give people the platform to speak. Again, honestly, I think by YouTube kicking so many people off, I think that's going to just drive a lot of people over to Rumble. Like you said, definitely Rumble's going to be taking over, because when YouTube kicks somebody's favorite creator off of their platform, that's going to make people want to ditch YouTube. And why would anybody stay on a platform that doesn't stand for free speech?
That's the optimistic part, and I think that's why you resonate with what I talk about, is that you would think that people would want to go to a platform that has free speech. But even though everybody's getting banned on YouTube and Twitch, they will refuse to mention Rumble, and they know that I post on Rumble, but they still call me a YouTuber because they feel some sort of loyalty, or for some reason YouTube doesn't even respect them, and they still are giving free press to a website that doesn't support free speech. They should be shouting out Rumble. They should. Rumble hasn't banned anybody that didn't deserve to get banned. Mm-hmm. And if you see what happened today, I think I could talk about this on YouTube. I really don't want to get you banned, so I'm going to be careful with my words. But people have this misconception that I got banned for misogyny, when the 3 strikes were election misinformation, medical misinformation for COVID, and cyberbullying. Did you see what the FDA just released today? They have now banned the original shot, the original jab. They have banned it from circulation. They made this. They said that people who are unjabbed don't have to take it anymore. They said that unjabbed, like, this is the FDA, Federal Drug Association. They're saying that if you're unjabbed, you only need one now. You need this new one. The old one is useless. And people were so insistent on taking this. If I said that this original jab is useless and people shouldn't take it back then on YouTube, that is a strikeable offense. I don't believe in that, obviously, because I'm on YouTube. And of course, I'm not sure if they lifted that rule. But it's very funny that something that the government is now putting out there would have gotten you a strike last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy how if you say something, if you said that, say, like a couple months ago, you would have been deemed like a conspiracy theorist, but now it comes out that is true. And that's the same for like a lot of things, you know, like a lot of people talk about this type of stuff and they get called like a conspiracy theorist, and like 6 months later it comes out that they're actually right, but they got kicked off and now their platform's gone. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we deserve retribution. Like, everything that was called misinformation is now true. Why am I still banned? Like, they were blaming and saying that they're trying to protect the people, the truth, and they're trying to protect people from misinformation. Okay, now it's true, but I face the consequences for it when that was called a lie. Shouldn't I be reinstated just based off that alone? Like, if the January 6th footage showed that there was a lot of lies about what happened in 2020. I don't want to get that specific because you are on YouTube, but if you look at the January 6th footage and you look at for context, that was basically the protests about the election results in 2020, and they were at the Capitol, and it was made to seem in the news like they were comparing it to 9/11, and Nancy Pelosi said that it was worse than 9/11. AOC said that January 6th was like, I was attacked, I needed to be escorted. And then you look at the footage today, which they held for some reason they held it for almost 2 years, and this was not what they made it seem to be at all. A lot of the footage was selected. The guy that went to jail, he was just released. The Viking dude, who was like the big photo opportunity guy, they released him from jail, and there's footage of he's being escorted around. But if you said anything positive about that, and Trump was just reinstated on Instagram today. He was reinstated, and it was because he was banned off of Instagram because of January 6th. And today he's reinstated because we're seeing the footage now, and it was not what the mainstream news made it to be. So basically, like, it's a little disappointing that he released it. Like, he's posting like NFTs and stuff like that. He hasn't really defended these J6 people, but he's like trying to sell trading cards. But if he's reinstated on Instagram, then I should theoretically be reinstated on YouTube right now. It is a little bit annoying that everybody can lie about me and slander me on a platform that I'm banned on, but you know, you just have to leverage it to your advantage, and I see it as free press when people slander me. But I like your attitude towards journalism. I was in a pretty similar situation 3-4 years ago where I thought exactly the same thing as you, and one of my favorite pieces was about the abolish the police movement in Portland. and I went to Portland, Oregon, and I filmed the no police zones. It was during all the Black Lives Matter protests when people shut down the streets, and then like Antifa basically ruled over this place, and they were fighting the cops every day for months,
Hmm.
and they had all these speeches. It was in like tear gas. People were just burning down buildings. It was complete mayhem, and I interviewed these people who were running it. I'm like, should we abolish the police? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, what do you replace the police with? Instead of 911, you call 411. I'm like, isn't that just the police with a different number? And they're like, you can call, instead of policemen, like sometimes you need a therapist. I'm like, so if someone breaks into your
Oh my
home,
God.
you're gonna call a therapist? You're gonna call Dr. Phil to save, if someone's burning down your house? You're gonna call a dude with glasses and a flannel and a scarf to save you? Is that what you're saying? And they're like, well, I haven't really thought about it. I'm like, what is your credibility? I'm like, oh, I'm the leader of the protest. So they didn't even, the people organizing this
Jeez.
didn't even know why they were really there. They were there for fun. They like to put like all these armed like bodysuits on, and they were there with the helmet and the bat. It was the real life purge. And I went there because I was actually kind of like, what's going on there? I went out to a lot of these protests out of boredom in New York, and then I'm like, what's really going on here? And I just talked to these people, and that's the best way to find out a lot about what's going on, is to see how plugged in people are and their motivations for why they believe in what they believe. I don't really think people think about that. People have a big emotional reaction to stuff like Ukraine and to these things that they have no control over. Like, we need to save Ukraine. Like, okay, but why do you even think that? Have you seen any footage of the war? Do you know what the war, like why the war started? Do you believe, are you pro-war? Save Ukraine how? Should we go donate more, give more money to Zelensky? Should we just give billions of dollars to this country? Is that really going to help? People don't think about why they have these beliefs. And that's why I think journalism is extremely important, the type of journalism you're doing, because that helps people waste their energy on something that they have no control over. Because ultimately, like, talks about these types of issues at a certain level of wealth and status is a complete waste of time. People pretty much only, at a certain level, you just talk about money. And it's not just because like this stuff you don't care about, but that's just the most productive conversation. And it's also because you realize that these issues that they tell us to care about, they're not, because we have no impact on it. We're not going to do anything about it. We people protest the climate, like in New York. I was doing these interviews like the ones you're doing, and I'm asking people about climate change, and they're there holding cardboard signs like and skipping school for climate change. I'm like, who are you? Who are you trying to? Whose attention are you getting? The climate? Like, how? Like, if we need to stop climate change, how? What are we getting? Like, who are you talking to? The cars driving by you? Who is this protest for? People don't think about that. And it is, at a certain level, it's just like mindless entertainment, but you're trying to reach, and what I advise you to do is you're trying to reach people that could be using their time in a better way. So you shouldn't be standing on a highway protesting climate change. You just shouldn't. And today, actually, TikTok banned content that is climate change denial. That just happened. TikTok will not allow you to deny climate change. So think about why why that is in the first place. My prediction is that's the next pandemic. They're going to go and try to have a carbon footprint score, and they're going to keep us inside so that we don't emit too much carbon. That's going to be the next quarantine. That's my opinion. That's why they're banning it. It's not because TikTok cares about you. It's because they're getting ready for the next narrative. So my advice to you is to try to reach people that could be doing something better with their time that and they're wasting on issues that they have no control over.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up a really good point about people being so emotional. I think a lot of people in my generation think more emotionally than they do logically, and that's why we see a lot of what we see today. I got one of my viewers asked a question here. It says, what impact do you think you have had on this generation?
I think I just explained my impact. I think that's why I connect with people is I think your worldview is extremely true. People nowadays just think off of their first emotion instead of what's true. And I did this debate on Just Pearly Things yesterday, and this girl said that I was vibrating with misogyny. And I asked her, like, what did I say that makes you think that I'm vibrating with misogyny? And she didn't know. Not only did she not know how to define misogyny, but it was not what I said, it's how I said it. And that mattered more. Her accusation, that's a pretty serious accusation. That can get you banned. I mean, people are going to jail over stuff like that. That's how you end up getting falsely accused. So she made this accusation and she had nothing to back it up. And it's just based off of the way I was talking. And we're told that that's okay. That's what the woke movement was designed to do. It was designed to make you live in fear, to act based off of your first emotion, to watch a video of George Floyd and then feel the police, the police. But okay, but what do we like? How does this solve racism? If you think that the police are racist, what does that do to solve racism? But they just see that George Floyd video and they get upset and they black square. Like they need to do something about it. They feel we're very easily manipulated with groupthink and with our first emotion. And so what I want my impact to be, what I hope it is I want to seek truth through funny. That's always been my motto. But I want to point out how stupid a lot of these things are that everybody immediately feels that they need to care about. And so I think that it's important to unplug people. And the only way you can capture people's attention, in my opinion, is through entertainment, is through comedy. So if I have made someone think in a different way, if I made somebody question their worldview and why they hold the beliefs that they hold so truly and dearly to their hearts, then I think that I had a positive impact.
Seek truth through funny. I really like that motto. That's really good. I think a lot of stuff that is funny is the truth. So yeah, definitely like that. Here's a comment here. It says, how have your priorities changed now that you've made it to the millionaire status? Is it chasing the money, chasing women, etc., or is there more to life now that you've reached that point?
I was getting more women when I was in college and I was broke. And I found more satisfaction and I found more happiness when I was in Harlem making $2,000 a month. And the happiest feeling I get, the constant pursuit and the constant growth is where I derive my happiness from. It's not having the money, it's getting it. It's constantly getting to the next point. I think as men, it's important for us to have specific goals, and achieving the goal isn't exactly what the happiness comes from. It's the pursuit. That's where, if you're constant motion, that's where you're going to be happy. I found my happiest moments where, like when I made a video called Everything Happens for a Reason, or I made the video called Fake It Till You Make It, or the video called 20 Years Old. Those are like, at the top of my head, some of my favorite videos, or How People View You. That feeling I get after spending a lot of time editing, writing, scripting, filming it, and then re-editing it, and then showing it to somebody else, finally crafting this video, even though it's only 4 or 5 minutes long, pressing render, and then pressing the upload button, and then putting it out into the world. And then this idea that I was able to formulate, and this idea that I had in my head, being able to translate that into a finished product, an MP4 file, and then put it out into the world, that is the happiest feeling I'd ever get. It's just that pressing that upload button, boom, done. Which is why it sucks that all those videos are gone, but I've been reposting them on Twitter. But that is the happiest feeling I've ever had. I make money. I can get women. But nothing really beats that. And then after, I'll be like high off that feeling for like a week. And then you got to make the next video. Yeah. But even to this day, like you see the way I talk about, I made these videos years and years ago. I still remember what it was like, the process. And I like the struggle. I think it's really important to have struggle because those videos are really hard to make. It wasn't easy. Like there was a lot of obstacles. I didn't have a lot of money at the time, like trying to get a cameraman to work, or if there was like a rain problem or my computer crashed. 20 years old, my computer crashed in the middle of the edit. I had to restart the whole thing, and then just like feeling that dread of losing that file and then still finding a way to make it good in the end. I like those struggles because you attach a lot of those on the other side. When you're on the other side of that problem, you look back with kind of fond memories. Like, yeah, you remember when that happened? You remember like the struggles that I had to go through to get this done? Breaking into a warehouse to go film these shots in here, or sneaking into an abandoned hospital to get some B-roll, stuff like that. Those are the memories that you hold on to dearly. You don't really think like, man, remember when I had 100,000 in the bank account? That doesn't matter. It's the experiences that you have with the time and money and the places that you are in life. That it's the experience that's really the most valuable thing.
Yeah, and even Hamza talked about this too. I think as men, it's not necessarily the destination which fuels you. It's like the journey, and that's what you just said. It's the process of building up to a goal. Like I said, when I first hopped in the call, I got my vision board behind me, and one of the things on there was to interview you. And the process of contacting your manager, joining the creativity kit, and going through all these steps to get you on my show um, was definitely the fun part, and working up, networking. And again, thank you for coming on. I thought I was going to have to, because originally, like, I heard the booking fee to have you on, and I thought I was going to have to, like, get a job and really grind and hustle to make this happen, which I was in the process of doing. So I was really not expecting you to just say, hey, let's do it right now and come on. So that was
Well, what
great.
are your goals? What are your goals for content? Obviously, like you joined the creativity kit because you want to you want to make content, but I want to hear more about what drives you. What made you decide to pull the trigger and join the creativity kit?
Honestly, it was just so I could have a one-on-one opening to talk with you, and so I could hop in the calls. Like I said, I was pretty disappointed because I couldn't actually join any previous calls because they're on Wednesdays, and like I haven't got off school yet usually, and usually by the time I hop in them, you're already out. But that was the reason that I joined, was just to have the opportunity to speak with you
The
and try to
networking.
get you on here. Yeah, networking, exactly.
Okay.
And I think there's a ton of value in the creativity kit. If there's anybody, this is a little plug here. If there's anybody out there thinking about joining, for $50 a month, you could speak with Sneako, possibly have him on your show. Who knows? And it's just a great networking opportunity. A lot of like-minded people who have the same goals that you have are in this kit. So if you're a content creator or entrepreneur looking to make a little bit of extra money on the side, or just kind of build your network, creativity kit, definitely check it out.
So, what was your red pill moment? Like, you seem pretty based and you have a good understanding of the world. You're 15, right?
Yeah, honestly,
What was the moment where you realized that a lot of what you are fed is a lie?
I honestly can't think of a specific moment. I don't know. I kind of just one day realized that a lot of the stuff that we're taught in school, I mean, I think school is kind of the main thing that kind of, I guess you could say, red pilled me. It's like I'm sitting in this classroom and we're learning about some stuff that I know for a fact we're never actually going to have to use in real life. And everybody's just like so anxious, like taking notes and like so worried about learning what we're learning. And I'm just sitting back at the class thinking about what my dreams are, thinking about um, what I want to be when I grow up, and what I want to accomplish, what I want to conquer. So I guess you could say school and that kind of environment was kind of red pilling, because I see a lot of people just droning through their days and going through the system of, like, go to college, work the 9 to 5, get a family, and then just die. It's that cycle, that system. And I just saw so many people just mindlessly, not even giving any thought to it, just going through the system. And yeah, I think for me, I'm like, wow, I don't want to. I don't want to just do that. I want to do my own thing and really conquer the world. I guess you could say, I not like conquer the world, but you know what I mean. Really, just like
No,
strive
yeah,
for these
conquer the
bigger
world,
goals.
own it,
Yeah, conquer the world.
own it. You want to conquer the world.
Yeah.
You want to leave your mark. You want to leave an impact.
Exactly. Impact is just it, because I think most people aren't really leaving a legacy. Most people aren't really leaving an impact on the world. I want to make sure that when I die, people remember my name.
And what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for somebody who provided value, somebody who, no matter what, spoke the truth, and somebody who, no matter what, tried to be a force for good. No matter what, just being good, not promoting degenerate stuff that we see nowadays. Um, like, it's totally flooded. Drugs, alcohol, all that stuff. That's just totally like the party scene. And yeah, I just want to be remembered as somebody who stood up for good.
I think you have the potential to do that. You're 15. You're a lot farther ahead than a lot of people, and you're making me remember what it was like sitting in middle school and sitting in high school and knowing that this was not the way that I
Hmm.
wanted my life to go. At following the path that was laid in front of me by the education system and by what they told me to follow, that was not the way. But from what I see now on social media, it's getting worse and worse. You see kids that the type of influences that they look up to, like the most popular YouTubers, are definitely advocating for this degeneracy. The platform YouTube is advocating for this degeneracy. When somebody, changes their gender, they're called brave. Like you can, instead of leaving an impact like you want, you can get that same dopamine hit from, changing your gender and cutting off your genitals and announcing to the world, how I'm this now, and then everyone says you're an amazing person. What used to take a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, you can get in 5 minutes for taking estrogen, and seeing how it's promoted by all these platforms. I just want people to remember that it's not because they actually care about you. It's not because YouTube thinks you're brave for cutting your dick off. This is part of the programming. And then I see like what they're advocating for in schools, like drag queen story hour. I'm not sure if you have this. I want to ask you, what state are you in?
I live in Canada, actually.
Are you live in Canada?
Yeah.
Even worse. What type of woke non like I've just recently seen in schools that you're not even allowed to misgender people. Like it's like a crime to misgender people in Canadian schools now. Canada is like it's like 5 steps ahead in terms of wokeness in America. What type of for everybody else watching? You're 15. You're a freshman, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not. What's grade
Oh,
10?
I don't know if they have the same thing, but basically, like, what type of wokeness is being pushed in your school?
Honestly, I can't really speak to that because my school's pretty good. I mean, of course, you hear about other schools and you hear about laws being passed where, I mean, I didn't hear about this one, but where it's illegal to misgender somebody. Absolutely crazy. But honestly, my school's pretty good.
You go to a private school?
No, public school.
Public school? So
Yeah.
there's nothing like that.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe that it's being polarized, and it's just my view of modern schools is just like filtered by conservative accounts that just highlight the worst parts of it. But from the outside looking in, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I guess
Do you
that's
remember
another
what
thing.
your
Sorry, I guess that's
Go ahead.
another thing too, is like on the other side, it is like a lot of the crazy stuff is highlighted, so people may get this view that like everything is super, as you call it, woke. Not everything is like that. As I said, like my school's pretty fine. I mean, most schools that I know of are all right. I know, of course, there are those schools who are kind of farther into it, but I don't know. Maybe it paints a picture that things might be a little bit further than they actually are.
Yeah, social media shows the most polarizing
Yeah,
content.
exactly.
But do you
Everything's so
remember
polarized nowadays.
like the exact moment where you were sitting in school and you were like, this is not for me? There was a couple times that I remember. Of course, I had it around your age and even younger. But I remember the specific one, two specific moments in college. I was in film school that made me realize that I need to get out of here. The first one was, it was like it was the first day of television studio class. We're learning like 70s news technology, like basically how to run a news program in the 1970s, because college, like they don't update for the modern media. Modern media moves so fast. There's no point in getting a degree for it. But they were still teaching like the switcher, like how to press go live screen 2, and like how to do the Chiron, which is like 70s technology, where basically you see my name right here, Sneako. That's like, here's how you generate the graphics for like the new, like it was basically teaching you how to run a CNN program in the 70s. And it was my first day of class there. I'm there because I want to learn how to do storytelling, but you have to do this. You need to go fill the quote or whatever. And this professor, still remember his name. I don't know if I should go, and I'm not going to say his name, but we all had to raise our hands and like go around. We're doing like the icebreakers and we're saying what we do. And I'm like, I'm Sneako, and you know, I'm a YouTuber. I want to make YouTube videos. And he's like, oh, this media, you know, it's not going to work. This is just, there's no money in it. You're not going to be, everybody wants to do it. This is the reliable way. You should learn how to go and be a production assistant and be a camera operator and stand there behind it. Okay, turn to there's people getting degrees just to do this, and no disrespect to those people, but that's not what I want to make stories. Like, I'm in this media so I can go and like make art, not just turn it on the interview or turn it here. Like, that's your day, is turning a camera. And he told the whole class, don't do what Sneako's doing. Stay in school. This is not the way to make money. He shouted, like, everybody else is around there talking about their summer job, talking about like what they want to do, about how they want to be a writer for a show. And I'm telling him that I want to make YouTube videos and that this is a cool medium. And he's like, no. He just blatantly said, no, don't do it. And I know that someone's going to say this to people. I still remember like so many people in that class. They're going to see it. They will vouch for me. They remember that specific moment. I'm like, man, I'm doing pretty well. Like, I had 27,000 subscribers at the time. I was kind of stagnant, but He basically said, don't do this. Follow the traditional path. And I'm like, right now, I have the choice. Should I listen to this guy who didn't succeed because he's teaching? Right? Like you didn't make it. You started wanting to make a story. You failed. So now you teach it. So now
Yeah.
you got a job that you can rely on. So why would I listen to you instead of follow my ambition? And this is why I wanted to do this interview with you, Tyson. I heard the ambition in your voice, and it's rare. Hold on to it. Don't let somebody kill your dream. And I know this is like common advice, but that's extremely important. That was a moment where I pretty much had the decision. That was like a red pill, blue pill moment. It was like blue pill Morpheus showed up and said, "Take the camera operator job or follow your dream and be independent. Do what you want to do." And I was sitting there in this class like, "What should I? Is this really what I want to do?" And I think in that moment I decided like I'm not gonna. This is not the way, and I ended up dropping out. And I still remember this guy, and I wish I could talk to him and tell him you were wrong.
Hmm.
What was your moment? What's a specific moment where you can remember? It's not even that long ago. Like where you're sitting down in class and you had that realization, like this is not for me.
Probably in grade 9, I took a business course, and I can't even remember what we were learning. I think, okay, so I take this business course, and I think it's gonna like actually be like somewhat useful for running a business. And on the first day, we're like designing a logo of like a cereal box, and like that's not even that bad, but I can't even remember. We're doing like a bunch of weird stuff that had nothing to do with business. And I don't want to be mean to my teacher because I still go to the school, so I'm not gonna name drop or anything, but you could just tell that this teacher who's supposed to be teaching business had no idea about business. And he's just sitting there, like slouched back in his chair, just watching everybody, and everybody's just typing away doing this thing. And I don't want to come off as like an asshole or anything, but a lot of the business teachers have absolutely no idea how to run a business. And I guess that was kind of my moment where I'm like, what am I sitting here for? And I don't want to sound like cocky or arrogant. I know some people are going to think I am for saying this, but I mean, it's just the truth. A lot of the
It's the truth.
teachers don't know, aren't actually, because like you said, like if he was actually successful, he wouldn't be here in the school teaching. He'd be actually running his own business, you know?
It is dated. The stuff that they teach in school, they have to go. It has to be verified for the curriculum. Someone in the chat, Brainiac from the Creativity Kit said, "I went to a business school and learning about marketing from the '90s because by the time it's verified by the teachers and it becomes part of the curriculum and they make a syllabus and they make it part of the program, there's already so many new businesses out there that they're running successfully while you're teaching this outdated material." And the bottom line is, like, if they were successful, they would be doing it. They wouldn't be teaching. That's the part that hurts. But my advice, if I could tell you anything, is don't let things like cocky or arrogant, or don't let the guilt bring you down to those people's levels, because that's a big reason why they say those words, is because misery loves company. And they're not really calling you arrogant because you are arrogant. You said something that made them feel inferior, and so they go and shame you for them feeling ashamed,
Hmm.
right? They feel inadequate for not being successful, and you pointed it out, so you must be the bad person. This is a common tactic that people use, not intentionally, but to keep you down at their level. The shame and the guilt, and like people like the teacher trying to belittle like my dream. If I was a successful YouTuber, I destroy his entire credibility as a teacher.
Hmm.
This whole curriculum of TV studio from the '70s is irrelevant if I can succeed with this and a phone. That's all I need. I don't need any of this studio equipment. I don't need you teaching me. I don't need any of your syllabus. I don't need your homework. I don't need your GPA. I don't need to be paying $40,000 a year to learn from a failure. And that I say it in a mean way. That it's like, oh, you're arrogant for that. But you need to go and follow what you actually want to do. That's how so many people get stuck doing things that they don't want to do because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings, because they don't want to make someone else feel inadequate. And I was able to navigate through that. I'm pretty hard-headed and stubborn, but I've seen a lot of people close to me not be able to take that next step because of the shame and the guilt. And you're a narcissist. It's unrealistic. You're crazy. You can't let that be the factor that holds you back.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right on that. And I still think that's so crazy how your teacher tried to belittle your dreams like that. And honestly, I'm just wondering like how many people went into school like crazy ambitious with these big dreams, and then they let that teacher convince them that what they're doing was stupid, so they just stopped and they took, like you said, the blue pill. I wonder how many dreams were killed by that one arrogant teacher who didn't know what he was talking about.
I mean, 95% of people don't accomplish their dreams or really even take the step to follow it. And that's one of the biggest psyops of school. People taking jobs that they don't want to take so that they can pay off their student loans. People getting a degree. When I was in college, everybody around me, and I know this is personal experience, but like everybody was like, "Oh, I'm a marketing major. I'm taking business." They didn't know what they wanted to do because they never had time to figure it out because they were in high school, studying for exams that they didn't care about. They never had the time to invest and to figure out what they actually wanted to do. So they just end up taking the default path. I'm going to take marketing. I'm going to be a business major. And then by the time they're in college, like maybe they'll have some free time, but it's spent joining a fraternity and getting drunk every fucking day and partying all the time and doing drugs and playing Fortnite after class and like dicking around with their friends doing nothing. People get trapped so easily. That's the first psyop. There's a million others afterwards, but I think that's the biggest obstacle that people are held back on.
Mm-hmm.
But advice for you, a question for you: how much time do you spend thinking about what you actually want to do?
I'd say most of my time is spent like that, and sometimes like I don't get the best grades, and my parents are like, "Why can't you just focus on this?" But I'll be in class and they're teaching a lesson, and I'll just be like thinking about like who's my next interview, who's my next guest, what am I gonna do? YouTube stagnant, how am I gonna get the numbers back up? And it just kind of I'll be in class and I'll just be thinking about what I want to do, and I guess that kind of distracts me from my work, and I guess that's one of the reasons my grades aren't that great. But no, quite often I find myself just daydreaming about what I could be doing better, how I can be stepping up my game here on YouTube, and how I could be taking myself to the next level. And interviewing you is a huge step to taking my YouTube to the next level. And I hope that if anybody's watching who doesn't know who I am, I hope that you guys are headed over to subscribe to my YouTube, because another one of my goals is to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. We're currently at 13.4K. I don't know if it'll happen, but that is the goal.
Hey, that's a very attainable goal. I didn't know you had that many, but also go follow your Rumble. I like the concept. I like the way you speak. You're a really good speaker for 15 years old. That's a valuable skill that will take you a lot farther than people know. And I was just saying this in the creativity kick call. The biggest factor that separates successful people from losers is the consistency, is work ethic. More than IQ, more than your circumstances, more than luck. The number one factor that decides people who succeed is work ethic and is consistency. People start YouTube, and this is a reference point because this is what I know. People start YouTube and will quit before they make their third video so often because they expect immediate results, because they want that dopamine hit, because they think that they're just going to blow up for existing. When the people that actually succeed, you might be funnier, or there might be 1,000 people that are funnier, more entertaining, better journalists than you, Tyson. But if they don't work hard, if they aren't consistent, nobody will ever know. A lot of the people that you see on the front page of all these social media platforms, they are just the people that stayed with it. They're the people that decided, I am not going to fail. It's not because talent never wins. Vincent van Gogh didn't succeed until after he died. He was cutting his ear off because nobody was recognizing him. But it's the work ethic. You can outwork somebody. It's hard to really out-talent somebody. And that's the most important thing that they don't really tell you that early on. And that's something that I just realized with time, is that's what separates the winners from the losers. So as long as you are consistent, you have this goal to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you are consistent, if you are work hard, if you're working hard, and if you decide that I'm not going to fail. If you decide now, I refuse to fail. You're 15, Tyson. You decide by 20 years old, I will be successful. You will, as long as you follow the steps every single day. And it's not just about working hard. A lot of times it's working smart. It's analyzing. It's being critical of what you're doing. It's being able to have the right circle that's going to elevate you. There's a lot of these factors, but you need, if you put your feet in all the right, if you're putting yourself in all the right positions, it's impossible to fail. It's really that simple because of how many people just aren't doing the work, just aren't consistent with it. No matter how talented they are, people get caught in that narcissism so much. Like, I should be successful. I should be because I'm funnier. I met so many stand-up comics that were so funny, and they would never get noted. They would never book shows because they just felt like they deserved it. But the people that are booking shows are the people that networked properly, that talk to the producers, that know the right people. Those are the people that get to be seen. And even if they're extremely funny, that bitterness of I should be on the stage right now, that brings down the funny. The people that are networking properly and speaking to the right people and having the right attitude and going every night, they're going to be funnier on stage because they have a better attitude that night. So even though that person might have better material, that failure, that bitterness will hold them back and even take away their talent. So hard work always beats talent. That's a very important thing to remember. Do you work hard, Tyson?
Yeah, I would say so. I find oftentimes I'm worried I'm not working hard enough, and I'm not sure if you could relate to this, but I find, like, I heard some quote somewhere, lazy people think that they're working super hard, and non-lazy people are worried that they're not working hard enough. And sometimes I'll worry that maybe I'm not putting it all in, and that just adds to the motivation to keep going. And I like what you said about how if you have the proper work ethic, it's impossible to fail. Because a lot of people tell me, like, why don't you have a backup plan? You know, do good in school just so you have this backup plan. Like, what if it doesn't work out? And I understand that these people who say this to me are trying to look out for me. They got my best interest in mind, but they just maybe necessarily don't see the vision. Because the way I see it, if I just keep going at this, I don't see myself failing at this. I can never see my YouTube channel flopping, as long as I just keep, like you said, with the work ethic, keep going at it. Honestly, I think a backup plan is almost a bit of a distraction. It's almost a bit of a pillow. Honestly, I kind of like the uncertainty of not having a backup plan because that just inspires me more to go for plan A instead of having a fallback. What do you think about backup plans?
I completely agree. This is not. I think the world isn't ready for that type of information because of how many people will fail and then blame me for saying that. But I put myself in a position when I dropped out of school, I didn't have any backup option. Like I told myself it's either this or nothing, and that type of pressure makes diamonds. Sometimes, in order for you to get to that next step, you need to put pressure on yourself so that you have no other option but to climb out of that situation. A lot of people put off their dreams because they're comfortable in that situation and they have no pressure. I have one of my closest friends, we'll name drop him, Cass. I used to be roommates with him back in New York, and he's a really funny guy. Arguably, like I would say, he's like funnier than me. But as soon as I moved to Miami, he stopped uploading videos. He works a job. He'll say this, like he doesn't really like his job, but it's comfortable. And so he has no real reason to continue YouTube or continue to do something that he actually wants to do because, it's fine. Like, this job is okay. I work and then I go home and it's okay. Because he has that safety net, he's not going to put himself in a situation where he has to succeed. So I see guys like that all the time. It's like, man, you should be in my situation, but you're too comfortable. So I think it is. I think having that mindset, it worked for me. If you put pressure on yourself and if you force yourself to succeed, you will.
Mm-hmm. And I think I work better under the pressure. Sorry, what's that?
Hey, 10 push-ups right now.
10 push-ups right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm not wearing socks. Fuck it. Everybody in the chat. Everybody in the creativity kit right now, 10. All right, ready?
Oh, damn, he's still going.
I'll do 20. Fuck it.
There we go. Still gotta go to the gym today, too.
Good stuff, man. Hey, I wanna leave with this because I think this was a good interview. I think you ask good questions, you articulate all this stuff, and I'm gonna keep paying attention to your channel. Yeah, this happened spontaneously. We're just doing a creativity kit call. But I recently, like, I was gifted a Rolex recently by Iman Gadzhi, which is like one of the most successful young people that I know. And I just gave it to my dad. I didn't see him in a while, and I wanted to give him this. I have a Cartier Santos, and that's the worst of the two watches. But he was joking. He's like, I want the Rolex. It's just I just took it off and gave it to him, and he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, take it. It's just, I mean, that was like the coolest present that I ever received. That's the most expensive thing that I owned besides my car. But I'm just like, this is not these material possessions. Of course, it's good to have things of value and stuff like that, but I'll make it back.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make it back. You always, it's not good to hold on attachments to stuff like this. And I saw that it made him happy, and that made me happier than having it. Of course, I would like to have that Rolex. I got the Jubilee band and all this stuff. Had the diamonds, the VVS shining in it. It's a nice watch. Just gave it to him. I'll get another one. I'll make it back.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good to hold on to too much attachment to these types of things. And I'm glad that that made me happier than seeing it. Even though I kind of miss it, it's nicer than this watch. Seeing the smile on his face, like wear that, and being able to give that was I think it was cooler than having it. And then I like that pressure. Now I got pressure to go make another, however much it costs, and get that watch back for myself.
Yeah, we're living in a materialistic world, so that's wholesome stuff, man.
Hey,
Definitely.
man, Tyson, it was great to do this interview. I really appreciated your time. Shout out to everybody in the Creativity Kit. And any last questions, any last thoughts?
No, that's it for me. Pretty much ran through all the questions. Again, though, thank you so much for this opportunity. I was really not expecting this, so this is crazy to be able to get to speak with you. Somebody I look up to for sure, and somebody I think a lot of kids my age look up to, whether they're willing to say it or not. I think a lot of people find inspiration from what you're doing. So I'm gonna go hit the gym. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope that we got some new subscribers from this. And I'm going to clip this up, maybe get a couple shorts out. I don't know if you have anybody could clip this up, throw it up on TikTok. But yeah, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to get to editing. Keep working hard. Keep trying to book people. I want to one day get the Tate brothers on this channel. That is also another one of my big goals. I think that'd be crazy if I could get the Tates on here. But yeah, I'm going to keep networking, keep building up, and keep doing my thing. And I hope you keep doing your thing as well. I'll be tuning into all your streams.
Hey, man, it's good to see you. And if you want to find a good editor, you're in the right place right now. I'm going to go right back to the Creativity Kit. All the Creativity Kit members, if you guys can head over back to the VC, we can continue the networking call. I think that's the place to find them. So thank you to everyone, Tyson's audience, and I'll see you next time, guys.
Thank you, Sneako. All right, everybody. Oh my gosh. Whew. That was crazy. I'm not going to lie, a little bit nervous because this is a highly anticipated interview. I've been waiting for a while to make this happen. I'll tell you guys kind of the full story. So I put it on my vision board that I want to make this happen this year. Wanted to interview Sneako, and he told me to reach out to his manager. So I did. I sent his manager a DM on Twitter, and his manager said that, well, I'm not going to necessarily drop the price, but he gave me a price to book Sneako pretty much. And I saw that price, and I was a little bit discouraged because it was kind of out of my ballpark as a 15-year-old. But I used it as motivation to keep grinding and get my money up. So I was just expecting that after a while, once I save up, I was going to be able to book Sneako. And that was the route that I was going to go down. But today I popped in one of his calls for the first time, said, what's up? Told him that my goal was to interview him. And he said, let's do it right now for free. So, I mean, wholesome stuff from Sneako. What a great guy, just doing that. Taking 40 minutes of his time, almost 50 minutes to come on. I know that his time is very valuable because you guys know what they say, time is money. So he took the time to come on my show, which I'm just so blessed for. So, yeah, honestly, kind of speechless right now. Crazy stuff. I hope that we got some more people subscribing. Let's hit 100K this year, folks. 100,000 subscribers, that is the goal. So everybody, please keep sharing this out. Yeah, really don't know what to say. I missed some super chats, though, so I'll see if I can find them. My mom here says, proud of you for making your dreams come true. Thank you so much, Mom. Been supporting since day one. We got Dollar Stone Official says, seek truth through funny. That is Sneako's motto. Queenie says, holy, it's been a minute. Much love, peace, and freedom to you and your parents. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for that. Levin Bomb, Queenie. Let's see here. Braden W says, oh, it was a super chat or super sticker. And I assume that this is my mom just on my account because it says I donated to myself. I think that's just my mom. We had Mr. Sunshine Baby in the house. Shout out to Mr. Sunshine Baby. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I missed another comment. I might have pulled it up. It's not letting me scroll up anymore. Sorry if I missed any super chats, guys. It's not letting me scroll up any further. But yeah, I'm super pumped. But I go hit the gym. Seriously speechless. I'm gonna clip this up. And yeah, we'll see what we can do with the clips. Hopefully, we had a couple good clips there. I see something here. You ain't a real Sneako fan if you ain't calling him God. Oh my god, I see people in his Twitter replies all the time, just jumping straight to the cuck insult. I find that funny. And that was like an incident that happened years ago. It's crazy that people are still bringing that up. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off. Take care, everybody. God bless. Thank you for watching. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button if you like me and if you like what I talk about. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.